welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Known Classics. This is episode number 1489 and Doubleshot number 1389. Like in the case of last episode, a physical trade plus individual issues. Though, digitally of course. Alright, first up it is Nova Volume 5 Access, the Access tie-in to Nova. Yep. This is, of course, written by Gerry Duggan and artwork by a couple different artists on here. First is David Bolden, and the other one is John Timms. Now, the Access tie-in. Ooh, boy, the Access tie-in. Yeah, this came off the heels of an issue of the main series where Nova left, and whoever was the editor of that book apparently didn't put an editorial note, hey, read this book to see where the heck Nova went off to. Because I thought that was stupid. Like, I think some people pointed this out, like, okay, you're advertising this main miniseries. This of course, came out roughly 7 years ago. 7 years ago, Access. And I agree. Why wasn't there an editorial note in the main Access miniseries? Who the heck knows? What happened in 3 issues? It's Nova versus Cloak. Basically, it's Hulk spelled backwards. It's Kluh. Yeah, basically, it's this sad, evil Hulk. Yeah, that was something that Rick Remender did in the main miniseries. Which, of course, the first thing that is discovered that he does, he decides to go to Arizona of all places. Why Arizona? Don't know. He just happened to end up there. And, of course, Nova fights him and sends him straight. You might think, oh, he went to Las Vegas. No, he ended up in Paris. Yep, ended up in Paris. Yeah, some injuries. And eventually, of course, he does later, somewhat recover and beat the crap out of the Hulk. And, of course, become a hero and save his town. He, of course, is still injured, and, of course, his helmet is damaged. Yes, his helmet basically ends up like this. Yeah, something that the Hulk did, and it's like this throughout the next several issues. It's finally concluded in what happens in the annual, which I'll get to that. Now, in the finale of the tie-in for Axe, just before he goes off to battle the evil Hulk, he meets Cletus Cassidy. Reveals his real name to him. This is a plot point that will pick up the next 2 issues of this, and why in the world that he ends up fighting Cletus Cassidy for the next 2 issues. And then he just drops him off of Rikers Island. And he's like, well, Spider-Man just basically flies away afterwards. He points it because, well, he's a Spider-Man villain, so why not? And the guard of the Rikers Island is okay, get Cassidy to a Sonic cell and someone contact S.H.I.E.L.D. Yep. I thought it was quite hilarious. This book is actually pretty good. Now, I at least got appreciated about the CGI. I got pointed out though about the cover art here. Yeah, this cover art is pretty much just the artist for pretty much the rest of this run here. If I can get the right way to do this right here without tearing this sticker. Yeah. Local library. Yeah, you can tell, but it's sort of a CGI Nova. Yeah, this cover is done by... Let's see. I think it's Zachary Montana. This book is good. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Really good book. Alright, next up is the annual. Yes, this volume's so annual. Because, here's the thing. Nova, in order to get his helmet fixed, also when he was basically not being Nova, he's still semi-retired, and started a relationship with the girl, Carrie, who we had thing for from the start of the volume. He finally started a relationship with her, and I'll get to more to that soon. And then, of course, to fix the thing, he goes first to, Beast. Beast can't help him. He goes to Tony Stark, who shoves door in his face. Then he goes to visit the Baxter building, which he assumed the Fantastic Four was here, but apparently he did not know what was going on in the pages of James Robinson's Fantastic Four, because Doc Green has set up shop here. Now, there is an explanation for this. Okay, in the pages of Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four were basically barred from Noah Billon because of a stupid lawsuit that was basically put on them by a person known as the Quiet Man. As for why Doc Green is here, well, that was something Gerry Duggan was doing in the pages of his own solo book as Hulk. He, of course, moved to the Batmobile because his original base and had been destroyed because the Red Hulk showed up. So, he ends up basically moving to the Batmobile with his scientist friends. And here's the weird thing, though. He had a good amount of scientist staff that apparently that Gerry Duggan kept from Mark Waid's run for Hulk. And slowly, one by one, they pretty much all left to their own thing. Like, one left an annual, and our left basically was revealed that she was actually responsible for shooting the Hulk, turning him into Doc Green. And the last two, well, they went off to another dimension to become part of, well, the Hulk's daughter's harem. Well, her harem, they have all guys. Yeah. That's simply what they want. That's what happened with them. Doc Green, of course, his story was abruptly cut off because of Secret Wars. Alright, now in the case of this book is actually it's a good team-up issue. Now, of course, well, Doc Green apologizes to Nope for beating the crap out of him. Of course, he does thank him for standing up to him. So he looks at the helmet. He's like, it's nothing on Earth can fix it. So I figured, though, go off to space, basically, to do it. Okay, so after some convincing, basically, because the Hulk doesn't like going to space, because of what happened with Planet Hulk, obviously, which happened like 7 years prior to this. So it was like, fine, I'll go to space. So he hops in one of Richard's spaceships and goes to, of all places, planet Xandar, which, of course, Hulk researched. Yeah, he looked at the place because that's where the source of Nova. And apparently the place is in ruins. Now, this is, of course, just before the events of Black Vortex. Yes. As for why Xandar is like this, okay, that's in part to Annihilation Wave. Yes, that's actually the fault of the Annihilation Wave. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty much it's been the way it is because the Annihilation Wave. That's simply the reason for it. Yeah, as for the reason why no one has bothered to rebuild this place, who the heck frickin' knows? It's basically a complete question mark on that part. Though the last time the planet was seen was back in the Annihilation miniseries. Back in Annihilation number 4. Yeah, that was the last time it physically showed up in comic books. Well, actually, no, it did show up in... Well, aside from this annual, I think its last physical appearance was Infinity Wars Infinity. Yeah, that was the last known time that it actually showed up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was basically the one-shot introduced the character Hector Batista, otherwise known as Overtime. Yeah, that was the last of this planet showed up in comics. So they go there, and of course they have to. Of course, Doc Green just happens to find a device to fix Nova's helmet, and once it's fixed, he basically just flies off and transports Hulk to nowhere, where basically Doc Green meets Cosmo the Space Dog. Yes, one of his rare appearances that he made after the Lenz series ended. Yeah, that's the thing when it comes to Cosmo the Space Dog. He has very rarely appeared. Like, his appearances have been scarce at best. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not really sure why. It's just that, well, I guess, and this is just my personal theory, I don't think anybody really cares about Cosmo the Space Dog. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He is an absolute great character. Yeah, and believe it or not, guess what his last appearance was? Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black #4. Yeah, that was his most recent appearance he made. Yeah. So, after the helmet's fixed, and of course, Hulk is transported to a lava pit. There's jokes about Red Hulk and the fact he's beat up a lot by Ben Grimm. I like the fact that Doc Ray acknowledges that. Yep. Excuse me. And then, of course, right after that, then, of course, he gets transported to the Black Vortex crossover, because that's what happened in 28. Now, I'm not going to discuss that because I've already discussed Black Vortex. It's an excellent crossover. We're going to jump straight to 29 to 31. Yes, the final 3 issues of this volume. So the first thing that you see in issue 29 is that Sam drops off Richard Rider's helmet to his parents. Yeah, his parents, believe it or not, no one has seen him since the end of Nova Volume 4 back in 2010. This came out in I think this just came out in 2015. So basically, no one has seen the Riders in about 5 years. Yep, so Av drops that off, continues his relationship with his girlfriend Gerry. And then pretty much for the last few issues, he pretty much goes to space to actually go find his missing father. Yep. And eventually he does. I'll get to that more, but yep. So, and of course he reunites with his father, and of course he's about the Shatari, but he's not alone. He gets help from Beta Ray Bill to battle the Shatari for the last issue. Yep. Help him Beta Ray Bill and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Because why the heck not? Yep. So he beats up the Shatari, saves his father. They all go home, and it's like almost like we have him talk about your helmet, and of course sort it out. And then we have this thing where we tease something that, as far as I can tell, I don't think they've actually followed up with it. No, I don't think they have. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't think they have followed up with this thing where they tease something with this potential villain might show up here. I think it was a Warbringer. Yeah, I think that he said with him, but not really. And then, of course, next time this guy shows up is action pages of all of the Avengers. So he got killed off by a Wolverine Infinity Watch. Yeah, you see a return of somebody. I can't tell who it is. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of the volume itself. Yep. I gotta say, these issues are pretty good. Now, before I talk what happens next, let's first get my final thoughts on Volume 5, on Gerry Duggan's run for Nova, and the entire volume. Gerry Duggan's run, in my opinion, is really freaking good. Yeah, it's just really good. I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, it came onto the book with issue 14. You were thinking, really? 14? Was he not the original writer of the book? Surprisingly, no. He was not the original writer of this book. Nope, that was well, actually, no, he came on with issue 13, actually. Because previously, I thought Jeff Loeb left. Let's see. Let me see what his proper start is. So let's see here. Okay, so his official start for the book was actually with issue number, I think it was issue 10. Yeah, and this actually was one of his first books he did at Marvel. Yep. He came out of the book with issue 10. That was the first issue he did. And that was during a time when Zeb Wells was one of the writers of the book. Yeah, he came out of the book. Now, Lowe himself left after issue number 6. After 5, because 6, 6 was done, I think, was the first issue done by Zeb Wells, because 5 was his last issue he did. Yeah, 5 was the last issue he did. Though he did come back for... Now, 11 was co-done by Gerry Duggan and Zeb Wells. And then Loeb came back for issue 12, because why not? Though 13 was the first regular issue done by Gerry Duggan. And then from that point forward, he pretty much was doing the book for the rest period of time. The thing in this book is, it was really freaking good. Not a bad issue. Despite the fact this book went through 3 different writers, first being Loeb, then Zeb Wells, and a fellow like Gerry Duggan, who pretty much did almost this entire volume by himself. Of course, after doing this volume for 18 issues, I guess he figured, though, I guess it was time for him to leave. Because I'm looking up basically like Gerry Duggan's like early comics he worked on. This is actually one of the first ones, not the first one he worked on. No. The first one he worked on was Deadpool. Yep, he worked on Deadpool. He also did an issue of A plus X, Uncanny Avengers. Actually, 2 issues of A plus X. Yeah, he was working on this book at the same time working on Deadpool. When this volume ended, he pretty much was switching over to other books. Like he had the Hulk do its repertoire. Yeah. Despite being one of his early books he did, this proved that Gerry Duggan... Probably some people at Marvel thought he was probably a good choice to do Guardians of the Galaxy. So eventually he got Guardians of the Galaxy. A run that lasted almost as long as this one did. Yeah, it lasted for about 17 issues. Yeah, 17 issues. Almost like this one. And did he publish annual during that period of time? Yes, he did. He most certainly did. Unlike for Deadpool, he didn't publish an annual. He didn't publish an annual for Deadpool, but he did for Nova. Yep, I kind of wish he would stay with Nova, but if you want to know what happened next, it gets really, really dumb. First of which, the whole thing with his father. As soon as next volume starts up, it is immediately retconned in the first issue of the relaunch, right after Secret Wars, that this is not his father, but a clone. Yes, seriously. All because he had trouble using his helmets. Apparently this wasn't the real Jesse Alexander. So let's just retcon that. Oh yeah, and by the way, he had a girlfriend in this in Volume 5. She appears for like 2 issues out of 11. And like very tiny roles. Apparently Sean Ryan forgot the fact that she was his girlfriend. Because Carrie very rarely appeared in the book. And the whole thing, and he had to reserve a search for his father because he thought he found him. Nope, clone. And then that storyline was never finished. It's like, oh, let's just basically bring back this storyline of him searching for his father and then just do nothing with it. Yep. I will eventually discuss Volume 7. Don't worry about that. We'll discuss that. But man, this volume was good. The Sean Ryan run was something else altogether. It felt like basically like a soft reboot of the character, like ignoring a lot of the character development that basically Gerry Duggan established. I'm not sure what Marvel was thinking of bringing in Sean. Now, I have nothing against Sean Ryan as a writer. The guy has done some good stuff. But why the heck did they bring him in to replace an awesome writer like Gerry Duggan? That makes no frickin' sense at all. Oh, if you're curious though, what is the guy doing now? Well, he's doing Marauders, and he's also doing the main X-Men book. Yep, that's what he's doing now. He's doing Marauders. He was doing Cable. Yeah, Cable, I think is going to be... Cable just ended. So basically, he's working like 4 books now. He's working X-Men, Savage Avengers, and Marauder. He's working on 3 books. I think briefly he was working on 4. Yeah, 4. So currently it's just 3. Savage Avengers, Marauders, and X-Men. Yeah. Always, it's pretty much it for this particular review. Stay tuned today, definitely for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. As for when we do a comic corner, that's a maybe not part, okay? So next video. Bye.